My beloved child, there are moments when you feel as though you have been left behind. Yet it is precisely within those silent intervals that I am laying foundations your eyes cannot yet perceive. You measure time by outward movement, but I measure it by inward transformation. When you think you are standing still, I am quietly causing your roots to grow deeper and stronger. As it is written, "Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord. He will be like a tree planted by the waters." Jeremiah 17:7-8. Your growth is not sustained by what is visible before you, but by what is silently nourished within the depths of your soul. And then you begin to realize this: the pressures you once sought to avoid are the very instruments I use to expand your capacity, not to break you down, but to strengthen you beyond what you once believed possible. You have often wondered why everything feels heavier when you try to walk rightly. Yet you have not yet understood that when I prepare you for greater things, I cannot leave your former state unchanged. As it is written, consider it pure joy when you face trials of many kinds, because the testing of your faith produces perseverance. James 1:2-3. Every weight you feel is not meaningless burden, but compressing force, shaping you into one who can carry what is greater. There are times when my silence makes you feel distant, but listen more carefully. It is precisely in that quietness that I am doing my deepest work. What surface noise cannot reach, I am addressing in the depths. As a seed buried in the soil does not disappear but begins to sprout, so you are not forgotten. You are being restructured from within. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. For silence is not the distance between us, but the place where I draw you nearer in ways words cannot express. Remember the story of the faithful servant in the parable of the talents. The one who received less was not abandoned, nor was the one who received more favored differently. Each was tested according to what had been entrusted to them. The one who guarded and multiplied what was given entered into greater realms. Do you see? I do not measure you by the speed of your journey, but by how you steward and mature in what I place in your hands. Well done, good and faithful servant. Enter into the joy of your master. Matthew 25:21. For faithfulness in hidden seasons is the key that unlocks manifested seasons. Therefore, do not mistake delay for absence of preparation. The days when everything seems slowed are the very moments I am aligning your steps with what I have ordained. If I allowed you to move too quickly before your foundation was firm, you would not be able to sustain what I intend to entrust to you. But when I restrain your pace, it is because I am building within you a stability that circumstances cannot shake. The Lord makes firm the steps of the one who delights in him. Psalm 37:23. And every step you take is not random, but formed within wisdom, far beyond your understanding. And beloved, look back at all you have walked through. What once made you tremble no longer holds power over you. Wounds that once governed your inner world have become memories without authority. This is not the result of time alone, but of my work within you. I have separated you from invisible chains you once could not even recognize. I have strengthened you from within, so that when you step forward, you no longer depend on circumstances to remain standing. Do not fear the fire, for it does not come to destroy you, but to reveal your true essence. Like gold refined through heat, you do not lose your worth in trials. You become clearer in your value. When he has tested me, I shall come forth as gold. Job 23:10 is not merely a statement, but a process you are living through. And I am present in every moment, never taking my eyes off you, never allowing you to be pushed beyond what you can endure. Now, walk forward with this new understanding. No season of yours is meaningless. No waiting is wasted. No silence is empty. All things are working together to shape you into the person I have seen from the beginning. And when the appointed time arrives, You will not merely step forward, you will step forward with steadiness, with clarity, with a depth that cannot be imitated or fabricated. Be at peace, my child. What I have begun in you, I will complete. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus. Philippians 1-6. And when you look back, you will no longer call it delay, you will call it perfect preparation. My beloved child, what you are sensing is not chaotic disturbance, but a movement being initiated from the deepest place within your soul. There is a silent wave rising within you, unspoken yet powerful, and I want you to understand clearly, this is not evidence of losing direction, but evidence that you are approaching the threshold of a new season. When transformation begins within, it always carries both unfamiliarity and urgency, like a seed cracking open not because it is being broken, but because it is being unfolded. As it is written, see, I am doing a new thing, now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? Isaiah 43:19. What I am beginning in you is not a repetition of what has been, but a reality that has never existed in your life before. Therefore, do not let your heart turn backward as though anything there still holds your future. What I have removed from your hands is not loss, but liberation from old limitations that once confined you. There are things you once called yours, yet they were never aligned with the path I ordained. When I separated you from them, it was not deprivation, but deliverance so that you might carry what is truly meant for you. Forget the former things, do not dwell on the past. Isaiah 43:18. Not because the past is meaningless, but because it has fulfilled its role in preparing you for what comes next. You may have wondered why there were moments when I held you back, preventing you from moving at the speed you desired. But now you must see more clearly. That restraint was not rejection, but arrangement. When a builder lays a deep foundation, they do not rush to raise the structure. For what sustains the building is not what is seen, but what has been placed in silence. So it is with you. I have been working in depths you could not perceive, so that when you emerge, you will not only go far, but stand firm. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Ecclesiastes 3:11. And you are being aligned precisely into the time that has been set, not early, not late. Remember the story of David when he was still a shepherd in the wilderness. No one saw him. No one praised him. Yet it was there that I trained him. When he faced the lion and the bear, it was not to prove himself to others, but to prepare him for the day he would stand before Goliath. Had David been taken directly to the battlefield without those hidden years, he would not have possessed the stability to confront the giant. Do you see? Hidden seasons are not waste. They are where I refine you for battles you have not yet seen. The Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine. 1 Samuel 17:37. And it was the memory of preparation that became the strength for the step forward. Therefore, now when I call you, do not respond as one still filled with doubt, but as one who has already been shaped. You no longer walk with the mindset of someone delayed, but with the awareness of one who has been prepared. What you have walked through has not weakened you. It has made you fitting for what I have already set aside for you. Every tear, every waiting season, every moment you thought you were losing direction, all of it has contributed to forming you into one who can carry what is greater. And beloved, let this be deeply engraved within you. I never bring you into a process to lose you. I bring you into it to reveal you the true version I have seen from the beginning. What is not truly you will fall away, so that what is genuine may emerge, as a potter reshapes clay in his hands, not to destroy it, but to reform it into something better. So am I working upon you, like clay in the hand of the potter. So are you in my hand, Jeremiah 18, 6. You are not outside my control, but held within the center of my care. Now, as you stand before a new threshold, walk forward with the understanding that you are not arriving there by accident. You are not entering the future as one unprepared, but as one refined through every stage. And as you move, you will realize that nothing you have lived through has been fragmented or random, but a continuous flow leading you to this very moment. Rise up, my child, not in haste, but in certainty. Do not carry yesterday's fear into tomorrow's path. You are no longer one who is confused by the unknown, but one who recognizes the call and responds in trust. For when I call, it is never a random invitation. It is the completion of a process I have patiently carried out within you for a long time. My beloved child, slow your heart and discern what I am doing. For what you feel is not meaningless disorder, but the precise movement of my hand upon your life. There are seasons when I speak little, when I explain nothing step by step, when I do not answer every question you raise. Yet this does not mean I am absent. On the contrary, it is in that silence that I am most focused in forming your true shape, as a craftsman does not require words to create a masterpiece. Neither do I need noise to complete my work within you. Can I not do with you, Israel, as this potter does? Jeremiah 18:6. You are not abandoned within the turning of circumstances, but held firmly within my loving governance. There are moments when you feel pressed from every side, as though everything is tightening, leaving no breath, no way forward, and you interpret it as collapse. But you must understand this more deeply. I do not press you to break you, I press you to form you. When clay is still soft, it requires pressure to become something stable. Without compression, it remains formless. Without shaping force, it never becomes useful. So it is with you. What you call chaos is the very process I use to bring you into a higher order. After you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace will restore you and make you strong, firm, and steadfast. 1 Peter 5:10. Every pressure you endure is contributing to the strengthening of your foundation. Look back, and you will see that there are parts within you that once hardened because of pain, closed off because of fear, and drifted off course because of incomplete choices. If I had not touched those places, softened them, and adjusted them, they would have continued to hold you within an old form. Yet when I place my hand upon you, you often feel that intervention as discomfort, even as loss of control. You do not understand why what is familiar is being altered. Why what you once held tightly is no longer there. But I say to you, I do not take away to leave you empty. I take away to create space for what is more right. He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. Psalm 147:3. Every time I touch a place of pain, it is not to remind you of the wound, but to release you from it. And then you will realize that the very movements you cannot control are the ones leading you into a form you could never produce on your own. You cannot shape yourself into what I have ordained, for there are depths within you that only I can see, and potentials only I know how to awaken. As Joseph was brought through years of misunderstanding, betrayal, and imprisonment, everything appeared to be the collapse of a dream. Yet within those very cycles, I was shaping him into one who could stand before a throne without being distorted by power. The Lord was with Joseph and showed him steadfast love. Genesis 39:21. For my presence does not always remove difficulty, but it always ensures that even difficulty serves my purpose. My beloved, do not rush to escape the process while I am still at work. If you step out too early, the form will not be complete. The structure will not be stable. and you will not be able to sustain what I intend to entrust to you. I do not extend the process to test your endurance, but to ensure that when you emerge, you are not only refined outwardly, but strengthened inwardly. Idate, the Lord. Search the heart and examine the mind. Jeremiah 17:10. For I see what you have not yet recognized, and I work in places you have not yet perceived. Trust that every moment you feel yourself being turned, pressed down, or lifted up is part of this forming. No movement is meaningless. No pressure is excessive. All of it is measured within my wisdom. And when the process is complete, you will no longer recognize your former self. You will become a vessel able to carry what is greater than you, not fractured by pressure, not distorted by circumstance. Therefore, my child, rest within my hand. Do not fear what you cannot control, for you were never called to control the process. You were called to trust the one who is carrying it out. In surrendering to me, you are not losing yourself. You are being found in the true form I designed from the beginning. And when I complete this work, you will understand that no turning was wasted. No pressing was meaningless. All of it was the imprint of my love toward you. A love that does not only comfort, but transforms. My beloved child, listen deeply within your heart, for what is now emerging is not foreign to you, but something I have placed within you long ago. There are parts of you that have lain still like seeds beneath heavy soil, not because they were dead, but because they were waiting for the appointed time to rise. Now that time is drawing near. What was once covered will no longer remain hidden. What was once dormant will begin to move, not by your effort, but by my established power. As it is written, what I open, no one can shut, and what I shut, no one can open. Revelation 3:7. I am the one who determines the appointed time, and when I act, nothing can restrain it. Therefore, my child, do not try to force open what I have not yet opened, nor be alarmed when a door suddenly opens wide before you. What you need is not striving, but readiness, for there are doors that do not respond to human effort, but to alignment with heaven's timing. When the appointed moment arrives, what once seemed impossible becomes natural, as though it had always been waiting for you to step into it. To everything there is a season, and a time for every matter under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. And you now stand at the boundary between what is past and what is about to begin. Understand this: the years you thought were repetitive, the days you perceived as mere endurance, were in fact continuous training. Like a soldier formed through disciplined repetition until movement becomes instinct, so you too have been shaped through what once appeared insignificant. And when you enter this new reality, you will no longer need to struggle to remember what to do, for it will already be written within you. Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you. Joshua 1:9. You are not entering alone, but under my sustaining presence. But more than that, you are not only like a soldier stepping into battle, you are also like a priest passing beyond the veil. There was once a clear boundary between where you stood and the place where my deeper presence dwelt. Yet now, I am leading you into a place where distance dissolves, where you do not merely know of me, but experience me. Let us draw near with a true heart in full assurance of faith. Hebrews 10:22. For this is not a random step, but an invitation prepared long before you were aware of it. Therefore, my beloved, do not carry your former identity into the place I am bringing you. You are no longer one waiting to be validated, you are one already established. You are no longer questioning whether you are enough, you are one already equipped. What needed shaping has been completed in the silence you once did not understand. What needed refining was accomplished in the seasons you thought were confusion. Now, As you step forward, you do not walk in uncertainty, but in the awareness that I have completed my part. Remember Elisha as he followed Elijah, waiting for the appointed transition. He did not seize the mantle, he did not claim authority, he simply remained faithful until the moment arrived. And when Elijah was taken up, the mantle fell not because Elisha grasped it prematurely, but because the time had come. Let a double portion of your spirit be upon me, 2 Kings 2:9. And it was granted not through striving, but through readiness and faithfulness. So it is with you. What I am about to release into your life will not come through pursuit, but through what has been formed within your endurance. So do not doubt when things begin to shift. Do not withdraw when doors open. Do not walk as one still uncertain of readiness. You have been prepared far more than you realize. What was formed in hidden places will now be revealed in the light. And when you step in, you will understand that you are not starting from nothing. You are entering the continuation of a path I have already quietly completed. Rise, my child, with a renewed posture, not as one hesitating, but as one who recognizes the appointed time has arrived. And as you walk, you will see that every open door is not coincidence, but confirmation that you are moving within the flow of what I have established. My beloved child, when you look back upon the road you have walked, the seasons when you thought you had no strength left, I want you to see them through a different light. What you called exhaustion was not an ending, but the evidence of a journey brought to completion. Those who walk to the end of a road often carry weariness, not because they failed, but because they refused to stop halfway. And within that weariness lies a quiet testimony that you remained faithful. The one who endures to the end will be saved. Matthew 24:13. And your endurance is not invisible effort, but the foundation upon which I am now building what lies ahead. But let me take you deeper still. That fatigue is no longer a burden you are meant to carry. It has become a marker, a sacred boundary between what is past and what is about to come. When a season ends, your spirit perceives the shift before your mind can understand it. Therefore, do not rush to label that feeling as something negative. You are not weakening, you are completing. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Isaiah 40:29. And it is precisely in the place where you think you have nothing left to give that I begin to release what is new. And then there are moments when you stand before the future and feel your heart tremble, as though an unfamiliar wave touches something deep within you. You call it fear, but I tell you, it is the awareness of something holy drawing near. Your spirit is responding to a reality larger than its capacity to control. And this is not weakness. It is the sign that you are entering a space where my presence becomes unmistakably more real than ever before. Work out your salvation with fear and trembling, Philippians 2:12. For this trembling does not push you away. It keeps you in the right posture of humility as you step into what exceeds you. Do you see it now when you stand before something great? If your heart feels completely at ease, as though everything is within your control, that is when you should be cautious. But when you feel trembling, it is the sign that you recognize you are not the center of this journey, I am. And that recognition protects you from pride, from misplaced confidence, and from drifting into self-reliance, allowing you instead to walk in true dependence. You may have walked through moments of self-doubt, times when you looked at your own capacity and saw it was not enough for what lies ahead. But hear me clearly, this is not regression. It is the opening of a door into deeper reliance upon me. When you come face to face with your limits, you are touching the beginning of true strength. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Proverbs 3:5. For I do not call you into the new season by confidence in yourself, but by trust in me. Remember Moses before the burning bush that did not consume itself. He did not feel sufficient for the assignment placed before him. He even sought reasons to step back. Yet it was within his awareness of inadequacy that my power was revealed. I will be with you, Exodus 3:12. That promise did not erase his weakness. It became the very place where my power was displayed. So it is with you. I do not wait for you to become perfect before I use you. I wait for you to recognize that in your insufficiency, you need me completely. Therefore, my beloved, when you feel unable to continue by your own strength, do not interpret it as a signal to stop. See it as an invitation to go deeper into rightful dependence. When you release the idea that you must carry everything yourself, you create space for me to operate fully within you. And when I act, you will discover that what you could not accomplish by your own strength becomes possible when I am within it. Now walk with this renewed understanding. You do not carry fatigue as a burden, but as a mark of maturation. You do not carry trembling as fear, but as right reverence. You do not carry doubt as a barrier, but as a doorway into deeper trust. And within all of it, I am with you not only to sustain you, but to lead you into what has already been prepared. Be at peace, my child. What you cannot complete on your own, I will complete through you. And when you look back, you will understand that every emotion you walked through, from weariness to trembling, from doubt to longing, was part of the pathway that brought you exactly where I intended you to be. My beloved child, pause for a moment and look deeply into what is unfolding within you. For what I am calling you to release is not effort, but the way you evaluate yourself. You have grown accustomed to measuring readiness by emotion when you feel strong. You think you can step forward when you feel small. You think you should stop. But I tell you this clearly, your readiness is not found in fluctuating feelings, but in the work I have quietly completed within you through every season. What I have built is not dependent on the instability of your heart, not by might nor by power, but by my Spirit. Zechariah 4:6. What is opening before you does not require you to be sufficient in the way you imagine, but to trust the one who has already prepared you. Therefore, do not carry the fear that you are not strong enough for what lies ahead. I have never placed upon you a burden you were meant to carry alone. If I call you, I also supply the strength. If I open the way, I also guide each step. You see only your limitations, but I see what I have placed within you, a life that does not originate from human capacity, but from me. As it is written, I can do all things through him who strengthens me, Philippians 4:13. Not because you have become strong in yourself, but because you are upheld by a strength beyond you. Stand before this boundary with a different awareness. My child, do not shrink back simply because you feel small in the presence of something great. A seed buried in the soil does not need to comprehend the vastness of the sky or the full path of its growth. It only needs to respond to the life already moving within it. And that response carries it through the darkness of the earth toward a light it has never seen. So it is with you. You do not need to grasp the fullness of the future in order to begin walking. You only need to respond to the call that is already resonating within you. For I am the one who placed that call there. Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Hebrews 11:1. You walk, not because everything is visible, but because you trust the one who leads you. And as you begin to move, you will see that what you once called breaking carries an entirely different meaning. You have feared fractures, shifts, and disruptions of old stability, believing them to be signs of collapse. But I tell you, they are the beginning of revelation. The ground does not crack to bury the seed, but to release its way upward. Without that breaking, life within would remain confined to darkness. Unless a grain of wheat falls into the earth and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it bears much fruit. John 12:24. What appears to be loss is not your ending, but the doorway for greater life to emerge. Remember Gideon, whom I called while he was still hiding in fear. He looked at himself and saw weakness, insignificance, and inadequacy. But I did not call him based on what he saw. I called him based on what I had placed within him. The Lord is with you, mighty warrior. Judges 6:12. That calling did not describe his present condition. It declared the future I had already ordained. And as he stepped forward, not in his own strength, but in obedience, the impossible became reality. So it is with you. What I speak over you is not confined to your present perception of yourself. Therefore, my beloved, engrave this within your heart. You are not arriving late, you are arriving in time. You are not left behind. You are being led into the place prepared for you long ago. What is rising within you is not a passing emotion, but life I have sown from the beginning, and when that life reaches its appointed time, no force can restrain it. Whatever God does endures forever. Nothing can be added to it, nor anything taken from it. Ecclesiastes 3:14. What I have begun in you will continue until it is fully revealed. Walk forward, not with certainty that comes from understanding everything, but with the peace that comes from knowing I am with you. Do not wait until you feel ready, for if you wait for that feeling, you will remain still. Walk because you have already been prepared. Move because I am guiding you. And trust that every step you take is already within the flow of my purpose. And when you look back, you will no longer ask, was I ready? You will realize that I had already made you ready long before. My beloved child, slow yourself and discern what is happening deep within you. For there is a movement your eyes have not yet interpreted, but your spirit has already sensed. The space around you is no longer holding its former shape. A subtle shift is unfolding, as though everything is being realigned into a new order. You may not yet be able to name it, but you feel it in your breath, in your thoughts, in the quiet gaps between your ideas. The wind blows where it wishes. You hear its sound, but you do not know where it comes from or where it goes. John 3:8. Likewise, what I am doing does not require you to comprehend it fully in order to trust it. You only need to recognize that it is truly at work. And I want you to hear this as a clear confirmation, not as a possibility, not as a distant promise, but as a reality already unfolding within your present moment. What you thought was coming soon has already begun. It is no longer a point ahead of you to wait for, but a current that has already touched you. Now is the acceptable time. Now is the day of salvation. 2 Corinthians 6:2. The appointed moment is no longer in your future. It is permeating the very seconds you are living. Because of this, you begin to feel a misalignment between your former self and your former environment. What once felt familiar no longer fits in the same way. Spaces that once accommodated your old habits now feel constricted, not because they have changed, but because you have. I am making you incompatible with the limitations that once held you in place. This is not a separation of loss, but a transition of direction. Do not conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. And this transformation does not allow you to return to what you were, as though nothing has changed. Because within you, nothing is the same anymore. Remember Abraham. When I called him to leave what he knew, he was not given the full map before he stepped forward. He did not see the entire journey ahead, but he recognized the voice of the call and responded, "Go from your country to the land I will show you." Genesis 12:1. And in that step, an entirely new process began to unfold. So it is with you, not because you see everything clearly that you move, but because you have been touched by my leading. My beloved child, you will come to realize something profound. It is not the world around you that is forcing you to change, but you yourself no longer belong to the old structure. The thoughts that once guided you are no longer able to contain what I am placing within you. The old patterns of response no longer fit the new life forming inside you. This is not loss of control, it is inner reconstruction. I am reshaping the vessel so it can hold more. And if at times you feel unfamiliar with yourself, understand that this is not a sign of error, but a sign that rebirth is unfolding. When a seed breaks open, it no longer looks like what it once was. Yet it has not been lost. It has entered a new form of life. If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. 2 Corinthians 5:18. And this newness is not merely a spiritual idea, it is a living process taking place within you. Therefore, do not attempt to return to old stability simply because it feels familiar. What I am building within you cannot be contained in former structures. You cannot step into the new while preserving the old way of being. And I am not doing this to unsettle you, but to free you from limitations that no longer serve your becoming. Stand steady in this awareness. You are not being pulled randomly. You are being led into the current of what I have already begun. What is shifting within you is not instability, but evidence that new life has started to spread. And as you continue forward, you will realize you no longer need to return for validation. For you yourself have become the living testimony of what I am doing. My beloved child, what is opening before you is not a random coincidence, nor a fleeting moment of chance, but the culmination of a process I ordained long before you became aware of it. What you have called coincidence is, in truth, the convergence of many seasons through which I have quietly led you. No step you have taken has been meaningless. No path has been a detour. Every experience, every trial, every silence has been woven together into a single current that has carried you to this very moment. As it is written, the Lord establishes the steps of a man. Proverbs 16:9. You have not arrived here by accident. You have been brought here. Therefore, rise with a renewed awareness, not based on what you once thought about yourself, but on what I have done within you. You are not one who has been left behind, as you once feared. You are one who has been set apart and prepared in depths that not everyone is led through. There are paths I did not allow you to walk quickly, not because I forgot you, but because I was deepening your foundation. The last will be first. Matthew 20:16. For what I do does not follow human order, but wisdom beyond comparison. You are not one who has been delayed, as you once believed. The pauses you have experienced were not interruptions, but alignment. When an instrument falls out of tune, the musician does not rush to continue playing. He pauses to tune the strings to the right pitch. So I have done with you. The seasons of waiting were the moments I was adjusting you, so that when you step in, you move in harmony with what I am unfolding. There is a time for everything, Ecclesiastes 3:1. And you are standing precisely within the appointed moment, not early, not late. And from this moment forward, as you begin to move, you will notice a distinct difference. You will not walk as you once did. Before, you walked with hesitation, with uncertainty about your own worth, with fear that you might fail. But now, you walk with a deep inner knowing that everything you have gone through was not to weaken you, but to make you fit for what I have ordained. The cracks you once feared have become the places where light enters. The limits you once collided with have become the edges from which you break through. Remember Joseph, my child. He did not move directly from dream to fulfillment. He passed through pits, through years of obscurity, through circumstances that seemed entirely opposed to the promise. Yet none of those things disrupted my plan, they completed it. When he stood before his brothers, he could say, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." Genesis 50:20. So it is with you. What you once perceived as adversity has been serving a greater purpose I established from the beginning. Therefore, engrave this deeply within your heart. I do not bring you into the refining fire to lose you. I do not lead you through difficult seasons to shatter you. I bring you into them to reveal you, to uncover the true version I saw from the beginning. When gold passes through fire, it does not disappear, it is purified. When you pass through the process, you are not lost, you are found. When he has tested me, I shall come forth as gold. Job 23:10. This is not merely a statement, but the reality you are living. And now, when I call, you will no longer respond as one who is confused. You will not stand still wondering whether you should step forward. You will recognize the call as familiar because it has been resonating within you for a long time. You are only now hearing it clearly. You do not step as one unprepared, but as one entering into what has already been prepared. My sheep hear my voice, and they follow me. John 10:27. You do not need to search in confusion. You only need to recognize and follow. Move forward, my child, not with haste, but with conviction. Do not turn back to check whether you are sufficient. For I myself have made you sufficient. Do not compare your journey with others, for you are walking a path uniquely appointed for you. And as you continue to step forward, you will see that what is unfolding is not a random beginning, but the continuation of a plan long established, a plan you are now living out, step by step, together with me, my beloved child. Open your heart to understand what I am teaching you at a deeper level, for your journey is no longer confined to distinguishing right from wrong in the ordinary sense. I am not only guiding you away from what is harmful, I am training you to discern what belongs to you and what does not. There are things that appear acceptable, even good. Yet if they are not aligned with the flow I have ordained, they are not the path for you. Therefore, do not allow yourself to be led by appearances or by what seems appealing before your eyes. Try to discern what is pleasing to the Lord. Ephesians 5:10. For I am sharpening your sensitivity to the life within a knowing that does not require display, yet is unmistakably clear, a recognition that needs no explanation, yet cannot be confused. And you will find that as you mature in this discernment, you are no longer drawn by easy choices or by every opportunity that presents itself. There are doors you once considered opportunities, but now you sense a quiet restraint within, not because the door is wrong, but because it is not meant for you. This is the sign that you are being established. You no longer live by what your eyes can see, but by what your spirit perceives. The righteous shall live by faith, Romans 1:17. And that faith is not blind. It is a trust in the inner guidance I have placed within you. There may be seasons when you feel unfamiliar even to yourself, as though you stand outside the flow of everything around you. Others seem to be moving forward swiftly, while you find yourself in a deep stillness, to the point where you question whether you have been left behind. But I want you to understand this clearly. It is not misalignment, it is preparation. I am drawing you into a space where noise cannot intrude, so that you may hear with clarity the direction I am setting for you. The Lord will fight for you, and you have only to be still. Exodus 14:14. For this stillness is not emptiness, but the place where I am arranging every detail with a precision you cannot yet see. Picture the surface of the sea before the wind shifts. My child, it appears calm, without waves or visible motion. Yet beneath the surface, a change is forming. When the wind comes, everything will move together, without force. So it is with you, The stillness you are experiencing is not the absence of movement, but the phase in which I am realigning the entire current of your life. When the moment arrives, you will not need to push things forward. You will find yourself carried naturally into a new rhythm. Remember Elijah when he withdrew into the cave and waited for me. A great wind passed, an earthquake, and fire followed. Yet I was not in those dramatic displays. I came in a gentle whisper. After the fire came a still small voice, 1 Kings 19:12. And it was in that quiet voice that his direction was revealed. So it is with you. If you seek me only in what is powerful and obvious, you may miss the subtle guidance I am offering you in the stillness. Therefore, my beloved child, do not rush to escape this stillness simply because you do not yet understand it. Do not chase the movement of others just to feel that you are progressing. I have not called you to follow the rhythm of the world. I have called you to walk in my rhythm. And at times, that rhythm begins with pausing, with listening, with trusting that even when you see nothing happening, I am still at work. Keep your heart at peace in this season. You are not removed from the current. You are being positioned so that when the current shifts, you will be at its very center. And when you step forward, you will realize that this silence was not an empty void, but a firm foundation for what I am about to reveal, something not merely good, but precisely right for you. My beloved child, too, there will come a moment when you look back at the things that once sustained you and realize they no longer hold you as they once did, not because they have become wrong, nor because they have lost their value, but because I have caused you to grow beyond their limits. What once brought you comfort now feels constricting, not because it has changed, but because your soul has been expanded. You may feel as though you can no longer breathe within former boundaries, as if something within you is urging you forward, even when you cannot yet name it. But I tell you, this is not instability. It is the sign that growth is actively taking place. You may have wondered whether you are becoming inconsistent, whether the shifts in your inner perception are signs of instability. But I say to you, no. You are not wavering. You are being enlarged. When I expand you, what was once enough will no longer suffice. When I increase your capacity, former structures will become too small. Enlarge the place of your tent. Do not hold back. Isaiah 54:2. This is not merely an outward call, but an inward transformation. I am making you broader, deeper, and therefore you can no longer live within the limitations you once knew. Understand this clearly. My child, the discomfort you feel is not a sign that you are on the wrong path, but a signal that you have outgrown the previous stage. When a garment becomes too tight, the problem is not the garment, it is that you have grown beyond it. If you try to force yourself back into it, you will feel suffocated. Not because you lack gratitude for what once was, but because you are resisting the growth I am bringing forth in you. No one pours new wine into old wineskins. Luke 5:37. What I am pouring into you cannot be contained within the structures you once relied upon. Remember David, when he was anointed as king, yet returned for a time to tend the sheep. He was no longer who he had been, yet he had not fully stepped into what was ahead. Between those two realities, there was tension, a sense of not belonging to the old, yet not fully inhabiting the new. You are in that same space. It is not disorientation, it is transition. And within that transition, I am allowing you to become familiar with your new identity before I place you into your new position. My beloved, do not fear the feeling of no longer fitting into what was once familiar. It is not a loss of direction, it is repositioning. I am leading you out of cycles that felt safe but were limiting, into a wider space you have not yet experienced. He brought me out into a spacious place, Psalm 18:19. And that spacious place does not always feel comfortable at first, because it requires you to release what you once held on to. Therefore, my child, do not try to hold on to everything simply because it was once good. Not everything that is good is right for this season of your life. I am teaching you to discern not only between right and wrong, but between what is fitting and what has already fulfilled its purpose. There are things you must release, not because they are harmful, but because they no longer serve your growth. Walk forward with this understanding. You are not losing your place. You are being brought into a larger space. You are not becoming unstable. You are being expanded. And what you are sensing is not meaningless disruption, but the movement of life growing within you. Trust me in this process. My child, when I enlarge you, I will also enlarge the space you are stepping into. When I increase you, I will also prepare the capacity around you. And as you continue to move forward, you will realize that today's discomfort is the very sign that you are drawing closer to what I have appointed, a place no longer confined, but wide enough for you to fully live in the identity I created for you. My beloved child, listen with the depth I have quietly cultivated within you through many seasons. For now, I am opening something you were not yet able to receive before. This is not the applause of the world, nor the recognition of the crowd, but a declaration that comes from me, the one who has watched every subtle movement of your life when no human eye could see. What I place upon your life is not based on what you display outwardly, but on who you are when everything around you is silent. Your Father, who sees in secret, will reward you, Matthew 6:6. And that reward is not only something you receive, but a place into which you are positioned, a place shaped by your faithfulness. There are paths you have walked that no one has fully understood. Long nights when you spoke and heard no answer. Moments when you stood between withdrawing and continuing. And you chose to remain. Not because you were stronger than others, but because you chose to trust even when there was nothing tangible to hold on to. And I have seen it all. I have seen you keep your heart soft when you had every reason to become hardened. I have seen you remain sincere when circumstances could have driven you into pretense. I have seen you allow me to touch the deep structures within you, those things you once clung to for security, so that I could break and rebuild them in a more enduring way. The Lord tests the righteous, Psalm 11:5. And that testing was not meant to weaken you, but to reveal that you can stand firm when everything else is shaken. You may have thought that what happened in the hidden place was unseen, that your quiet choices went unrecognized. But I tell you, nothing you have lived through in faithfulness has been overlooked. Every time you chose what was right instead of what was easy. Every time you kept integrity instead of seeking shortcuts. Every time you allowed me to refine you instead of resisting. Each of these has been shaping you for the place I have prepared. Whoever is faithful in very little is also faithful in much. Luke 16:10. You have not only been tested in great matters, but confirmed through the small things that no one else could see. Remember Daniel, my beloved. He did not become distinguished in a single day. He lived through years of discipline, of faithfulness to me, even when no one was watching. When he opened his window to pray, he did not do so to be seen, but because that was who he truly was before me. And when the appointed time came, that hidden faithfulness became the foundation for public manifestation. My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouths, Daniel 6:22. For the miracle was not random, it was the confirmation of a life that had already been established in righteousness. My beloved child, what I am doing now is not beginning from nothing, but revealing what has long been formed. I am not testing whether you can carry this. I have already seen you carry it in the hidden place. The seasons of silence were not empty spaces, but the place where I built you with strength and precision. And now, what I place upon you is no longer a distant promise, but a transfer. Therefore, Do not look at yourself through your former lens. Do not measure yourself by what you once were. You are no longer one striving to prove your worth. You are one who has been shaped within it. When I position you, you do not step in as one unprepared, but as one who has been formed through countless unseen details. Stand firm in this understanding. My child, what I entrust to you does not come from chance, but from faithfulness, not from performance, but from transformation. And when you step into it, you will understand that not a single tear, not a single moment of waiting, not a single quiet choice was meaningless. All of it was part of the path leading you to the very place I ordained for you from the beginning. My beloved child, what is opening before you is not an empty beginning, as though you must build again from the start, but the unveiling of what I have quietly formed within you.